Soulwind TV presents.
Faith and Hope with Sweet Tea Sass, encouraging couples to reconnect with God and with each other so they can live their happily ever after too.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Sweet Tea
And Sass.
Marriage on the Move.
Yes.
This week,
Moving. Move on.
yep.
Sorry,
We're
I'm
moving.
tired. I'm trying to stay awake.
This week we're going to be discussing how to balance responsibility within a Christian marriage or marriage in general.
What's your responsibility? What's my responsibility? What's our responsibility together?
Right,
What kind of responsibilities we're going to put on the kids and have them do and carry out?
right.
There's a lot of responsibility. Man,
Adulting is hard.
hard. Oh, man. Same thought, same time. We still share the brain.
Same brain. So this week's Bible verse is, I'm no longer in my favorite book of Ephesians, but we're in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 7, verse 24. Brothers and sisters, each person as responsible to God should remain in the situation they were in when God called them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Being responsible to God means you stay in the situation you were in when He called you to it.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Just processing that.
Yeah, so getting that around your head, getting your head wrapped around that.
You tired too?
When God called us to get married, we are now responsible to God within our marriage
And for our marriage.
and for our marriage.
So we're
And
going to answer for that.
So everything that happens within our marriage by our choice and our decisions, we are now responsible to God for. Ooh, that's some tough words to comprehend there,
Yeah.
because that is wow,
Heavy responsibility.
heavy responsibility by
I mean, we're responsible to God for all of our choices.
right.
But that part about when He called you to it,
Yeah,
you know, it's just like, wow. That kind of adds another layer to it.
another layer of responsibility,
Wow. Shut it.
because everybody knows you're responsible to your boss.
Yeah.
You're responsible to
And if you make a poor decision that costs somebody
money.
or if it gets somebody injured or something, you're going to be responsible to your boss or to the company for that.
Right.
To you, to the country.
And then if you're the boss,
Because he was in the Air Force too.
if you're the boss, then you're responsible to your employees
And your customers.
and your customers. So responsibility is huge.
It's everywhere. You're responsible to your kids. You're responsible for making your kids be responsible,
Yep.
which I think is really lacking in
In
our
this day and
country
age,
right
yes.
now. I mean, people don't expect they don't expect their kids to be responsible or rise above. They think, they can just get out of it. And that's not the way we raised ours.
And that's not the way God intended.
No, and I want to interject something right here. We have a new program coming up with our group that we are trained and certified through, a parenting program. And it is going to be an 8-week program. It's going to be amazing. I cannot wait. I'm so excited about it. So you guys be watching your emails for that, because you're going to want to get tuned into that for that training. And you're going to want to get that book and that learning, because it is going to be amazing. And when we do the marriage reboot process with a couple, we're going to be bringing in that parenting part as well, because most people who are married have children, and therefore they're parenting, and that's a big source of conflict
Yep.
in a marriage. So be watching for that. It's coming really soon. I can't wait to get started. I'm excited about it.
Yep, that's gonna be an adventure in itself.
Yes, yes, yes.
So back to balancing responsibilities in a Christian marriage. It's crucial for you to maintain harmony within your four walls
And unity.
and unity within your four walls.
And you want harmony and unity. Trust me, you do. Life is so much easier when you're living in harmony and unity, and life is going good, and you're working together and accomplishing things.
Yes.
Because when there's strife and stuff, it's just not fun for anybody.
No, when there's conflict involved, it makes it difficult to make sound decisions. It makes it difficult to make decisions that will benefit the family as a whole, the marriage.
Yeah. I think this is,
if you're in, I'm sorry,
okay.
if you're in conflict, you tend to make decisions that's going to benefit you. That's going to save your skin, so to speak, if there's conflict within the marriage.
The training we did on Sunday, was she saying that when there's conflict, you're actually angry with God because you're trying to take control yourself.
Yep.
And once we realize we are not in control, and I'm telling you, I had to learn that lesson because I grew up in such a dysfunctional, chaotic family where there was no harmony or unity. I had this need to be in control. I wanted everything to be perfect and clean, and I wanted everybody, my kids, to be perfectly behaved and all these things. And it took me having to be injured in a car accident and put flat on my back in a bed to realize, you know what? I don't have any control over anything. I am not in control. God is in control, and he is sovereign, and I can't control it, and I don't need to, because he's much better at it anyway.
Right.
And so, relinquishing and understanding that you're not in control, God's in control, and relinquishing that to him
makes it so much easier on you.
So much of the responsibility off. You're still responsible for your actions and your choices and your words and all of those things, but you don't have to be hostile towards God because you're angry because you're trying to be in control, because he can do a better job anyway. He's done a much better job being in control of my life since I let it go and let him be in control than the mess I was trying to run. So talk about living out your roles. What are your roles as a couple?
I mean, this is even down to the point of who takes out the trash,
who washes the dishes,
who cleans the bathroom,
and who does it. A lot of guys would say, well, that's the wife's job, or taking out the trash or maintaining the car. That's my husband's job. But the roles are what you agree on as a couple.
Right.
What you both come together and agree that this is going to be my role and it's going to be your role. And it's going to change. It's going to adjust.
And we, just as an example, we mentioned out, who's going to take out the trash, who's going to clean the bathroom there. We know of a couple who, for whatever reason, the smell of trash just caused the guy to go into
just get
vomiting type sickness. But on the flip side, his wife couldn't stand to clean the bathroom. She couldn't stand the sight of a dirty toilet. So the roles were flipped. It was in their household. She took out the trash and he took care of cleaning the bathroom in the house.
It's what you agree on.
It's something you have to agree on as a couple.
And
it doesn't have to be the stereotypical men do this, women do that.
No.
In our example, the first 20 years of our marriage, she did the budget.
I did all the money.
It was agreed upon. It was agreed upon. Excuse me. It was agreed upon between us. One, I didn't like doing the budget. I made the money. I didn't want to have to deal with having to spend the money. But with that being said, if I needed to buy something, whether it was for the car or for the house or whatever, I had to discuss it with her because she knew how much money we had or didn't have. And if it had to happen this month, what were we going to do to rob Peter to pay Paul, so to speak, to make it happen?
Poor Peter. He's been robbed
But
so many
then,
times. It's just a shame.
but then when we had our major accident and it put her in the bed for 12 years,
On
I
a
had
ton of medication
I had to learn how to do the budget
and the groceries.
and the groceries and all of the stuff that she used to do, in addition to me still working and figuring out how to do all of that.
Well,
Plus,
we had children that
we had children at the time that could help.
that helped up, stepped up and helped, and
Right.
you know,
But the majority of the bulk of that stuff, like the budget and the grocery shopping and stuff, all now fell on me, which to this day I still do
right.
for various reasons. But it's something that we agreed upon because the situation changed.
And another way that those roles changed is I did all the house cleaning, the cooking, the grocery shopping, all of those things. When I was hurt, it became a shared responsibility between him and the kids. And then once the kids were grown and out of the house, I still was not well enough and able to do it. So we hired somebody to come in twice a month and clean. So because he didn't want to do it and I couldn't do it, and it still had to be done. So sometimes it may be that it's a responsibility that needs to be assigned to someone else. You need to hire a housekeeper, you need to hire a mechanic, whatever it is. It may be, maybe neither one of you know how to maintain a car and you need to take it to a mechanic. That is something that is mutually agreed upon between the two of you.
Right. And it goes back to communication.
Yes.
You have to talk about these types of decisions in order to determine what roles are going to be filled within the family. And I mean, the roles even go down to the point of who's changing the dirty diaper.
Yep.
The running joke in our house, and to this day, is you find it, you change it.
And now we have our grandkids, and we're still doing you find it, you change
exactly.
it. Yeah. But sometimes we get away with getting the other one to do it because I did the last one, so we're keeping score, which is not really a good thing to do. But yeah, I mean, it comes down to, you've got to talk about these things and discuss these things and figure them out.
Right.
And, I, since he retired, I don't cook or clean. I did it all those years. And I'm just done. I just don't want to do it anymore. I'm not doing it.
And I'm getting to the point to where I don't want to cook anymore either.
I don't know what we're going to do because hiring somebody to come do an RV is kind of difficult. Now we do both get together and both get it, and being in an RV, it doesn't take very long. We can knock it out
in about 20 minutes front to back.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
As far as the cooking portion, it's getting to the point to where I don't like to cook anymore either. But eating out is getting too expensive.
Yeah.
In this day and age. So I'm still cooking.
We may be eating more sandwiches and hot dogs. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
No, I ain't going back there. We did that when we first got married. I ain't going back there.
But, and a lot of these things that these action steps are things that we've talked about in this is the 5th episode this month, effective communication. We're back to the communication.
Yes.
You have to be able to regularly discuss things and come to a mutual agreement. If you cannot come to a mutual agreement, you may need to get a third party involved. And please get a third party that is unbiased. Don't bring in your mama or his mama because they're going to be biased towards their child. Well, I don't know. Your mama probably would have been biased towards me.
Yeah.
But
anyway, something else in the communication is don't forget to talk to God about it.
Yes.
Bring God into areas, especially the big. Now, talking to God about who's going to change the diaper or who's going to cook, that just needs to be handled between the two of you.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the big decisions, the big financial decisions, the ones that affect your life and how long you're going to be in debt and so on and so forth. Don't forget to talk to God about those decisions. Openly communicate with him. And he's just sitting there waiting for you.
And even if you can't come to an agreement between the two of you, take it to God. Take it to God first.
Mm-hmm.
And unload it on him. And instead of asking him, well, God, I want him to do this, this, and this, and you need to change him. Maybe say, God, where can you change me? Because I can't change him. I can't make him do anything, be anything different than what and who he is. He has a free will and a choice.
Right.
And same with me. Yeah, and my free will is probably stronger than yours because I'm just stubborn like that. But but instead of saying change them, ask God, what can I do to change myself, to change the situation, to see things from a different perspective, to see things from his perspective. And I think that also comes to honoring and respecting each other.
Yes.
We've talked about that, but think about your partner's strengths.
Yes.
Their
And their weaknesses.
and they have strengths and weaknesses. Respect their opinion.
Right.
They have an opinion about things. Respect that and avoid selfish ambition.
Right.
Well, I just want this because I want this, and this is the way it is.
Right.
It's not. I mean, we're talking about the cooking thing. For one thing, I don't want to cook anymore because I cooked and I ran a catering business. And so I cooked a lot for a lot of people and to support our family through the catering business. And then when I got hurt, I hurt my back and my knees were injured in the car accident. And I've had to have fusion surgeries and I've got nerve damage. I can't stand on my feet because of my back for long enough to cook. I don't like sandwiches, but I have learned to eat sandwiches more than I ever did before because neither one of us want to cook. So I needed to change and adapt my taste and figure out how I can enjoy a sandwich as a meal, which I never did before.
Right.
And so you need to appreciate that and not say, well, I don't want to cook and I don't want to eat in a sandwich. We need to go out or you need to go pick something up when you don't have the money to, and you're just being selfish about it.
Right.
You need to avoid pursuing your own selfish ambitions in everything. You need to think of yourself as the two of you are one.
Right.
And it's no more just about what I want or just about what I need. It's about what we both want and need.
And when you're talking with your partner and you're discussing what their strengths and weaknesses are, maybe where they're weak, you're strong in, or vice versa.
Usually
That's the way it works. And amazing how God designed it that way.
Yep.
And if you just spend a little bit of time talking about it, figuring out who's better at what and who likes to do what, it can create balance within your marriage and makes the responsibilities so much easier. And if you both like to cook, then it's something that you can do together that makes the evenings that much more enjoyable when you come in from working.
Or take turns
Cooking, or
or if it's something you neither like to do or want to do, then you go to your shared financial expectations, and this is an expense that we're going to build into the budget to buy meals out or to buy ready-made meals or whatever.
Determine how many times a week you're going to eat out and how many times you're going to buy the pre-made meals that are delivered to your front door, whatever it may be. You have got to figure out who has that responsibility to make that decision.
Right.
But you need to make that decision together.
And you've got to, put that on the budget, just like with the cleaning the house. He didn't want to do it. I couldn't physically do it. So we had to budget that. So when we made a move and we're ready to buy a house, we said, okay, we're going to pay $200 less in a mortgage a month so that we can pay someone to clean twice a month.
Right.
Because we had to budget that in. We could have had a bigger, nicer house if one of the two of us were willing to clean it. We were not. So we had a smaller house that was a lower mortgage. So you've got to be able to communicate those things, talk about it, work it out, fill out a budget, fill it out together.
And as you grow in your marriage, things like this will change.
Oh, yeah.
Because outside situations affect what happens within your four walls, which causes you to reassess your responsibilities based on the situation at hand.
Right.
And because life is so challenging, you have to be willing to communicate what the responsibilities are and how they're changing based on what you see coming down the road or what you think you see coming
or what's happened
or what has just happened beyond your control. Now you have to reassess where, like, I had to figure out how to do a budget.
And, another big one too was him being in the military. He had to deploy. He had to go overseas. Well, after we had the car accident, there was an overseas deployment to Turkey. and he was just hell-bent on he was going. And I had to say, you can't do this. You have to back out of this deployment. I am flat on my back.
Right.
I've got 3 kids. I can't drive. I'm on all this medication. I'm on all these shots and all this therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy. You can't be gone right now.
Right.
You have got to step down from this deployment. And his selfish ambition and desire was to go and do that deployment. He wanted to go and be there, but he had to take a step back and say what my family needs.
Reassess what my responsibilities
My
were.
family and my family responsibilities are
Right.
more important than this. We definitely could have used the extra pay that he would have gotten
Mhm.
going to Turkey. It would have made things easier, but we just couldn't.
Right.
I mean, I could not at that point in time do everything that needed to be done with 3 kids at home and me being as injured and everything as I was. And there are other times when he's had to go on deployments and I got sick and I was really, really ill to the point I couldn't drive. And he's overseas. He can't do anything about it, can't get home. And I had to call friends, people I didn't even know at the time because we just moved. But they had given him a card and said, if she needs anything while you're gone, let us know. I had to take him up on that. And I had to call and say, can you come get my daughters who were both preteen, early teen, not driving yet, and take them to the grocery store to buy groceries. And I had to call the grocery store on base and say, will you take a signed check from them if they come in to buy groceries? Because this is the situation. I'm so sick. I can't drive. I
Right.
can't even get off the couch. They had to come and take me to the doctor. And, and sometimes you've got to lean on people outside of, and, if we'd been home, we could have depended on family, but we were thousands and thousands of miles away and we couldn't depend on family. Family
Right.
couldn't come. And I had to depend on other people. And there are situations like that. And there are times when you have to just evaluate and say, what are we going to do? I mean, I could have made the option of the kids and I order pizza every night, but financially that wasn't doable.
Right.
My
They
girls
get
were,
old too.
yeah, my girls were old enough to cook. I had taught them to cook. And so they went to the grocery store and got groceries and they cooked. And then, once the base found out that I was sick and he was gone, then we had people bringing us meals as well. But there are times when those things are gonna ebb and flow, and you just need to discuss it.
Right.
And budget for it.
Yep.
Put it in the finances.
Yep.
And, get outside help if you need to. If you need to get a financial planner to help you budget it out and
Mhm.
figure it out. If you need to, if you can't come to an agreement between the two of you, get a coach, get a mediator, get a counselor, get somebody that will help you.
Don't be
work
afraid to
through
seek
it.
help.
And don't be afraid. Like when he was bent on going to Turkey, I was like, this is not okay. I feel like you are being selfish and trying to avoid this situation that we're in. And he didn't feel like he was. He felt like because of being in the military, it was mission first.
Right.
And the kids and I had to come second. But that was an instance in our life where mission had to become second because we had a dire situation with my health.
Right. And again, don't forget to give each other grace and to give each other space within your responsibilities of what you're trying to figure out and what you're developing. And
it's ebb and flow.
And even when situations change within what's going on in your 4 walls, you have to give each other space so that they can process what's going on and
Right.
and process what the new responsibilities are, or even process the fact that they can no longer do what they've had to do, because it really affected her when she was now down on her back and couldn't do, the stuff that she had been doing. It really affected her because
I wanted to do it. It wasn't that I didn't want to be doing it. I didn't want to be in that bed.
Because she now couldn't do it, and that that really affected her mentally because she felt helpless and hopeless because of a situation that was beyond our control.
Right. So one thing I really want to point out is this is how to balance responsibilities in your marriage. It's about balance.
Yep.
It's never 50-50.
Nope.
It's never 100-100. It's never 80-20. It is always a balancing act. Some days it's going to be 10-10 and some days it's going to be 80-20. It's going to change,
Yep.
but just don't try to reach harmony. Try to reach balance where everything is balanced.
And the harmony will come.
And the harmony will come
Yep.
on the heels of that.
Yep. So how to balance responsibilities in Christian marriage or in marriage general.
Yeah. Yeah.
This has been another episode of Sweet Tea,
And Sass.
Marriage on the Move. Love you guys.
Talk to you soon. Bye.